Hi, everyone. This is Victoria English, top coach with Project 90. I'm happy to be here today, taking over James's podcast once again. Thank you for the positive feedback I've received on previous episodes. It's really a pleasure and a total honor to be able to share my experience and my insight around the topic of alcohol. If you're listening to this, maybe you are interested in changing your relationship with alcohol. When I started misusing alcohol, we didn't have things like this. We didn't have normal people coming out and sharing their stories. We saw things on, the cover of magazines about a celebrity going to rehab or somebody getting arrested, but we didn't hear the stories about everyday people who just kind of lost a choice in the way that they consume alcohol. And again, that's why it is such an honor to be able to share this with you, because hopefully hearing my story and understanding what it was like for me and for other people in our community will help you release any sense of shame around your relationship with alcohol. Alcohol is a mind-altering drug, and it changes the way that we behave, the way we think, the way we talk to people. And so if you're feeling shame, I hope you can take a moment and just remember that alcohol was the one doing the talking, doing the behaviors. And after you take a break from it, you are going to return to the person that you really are, the person that you are meant to be. So I just wanted to share that because it was key in my journey to releasing alcohol's grips. I was so mired in shame and embarrassment that, gosh, it just made me want to keep drinking, because who wants to live with those feelings? So anyway, I have been thinking about mental health and alcohol. So much is changing in the world. And if you can take a break from the media and the stuff that they are sharing with us, you can see that there is a lot of good happening. One of the good things is that we are more and more able to have conversations about mental health and about alcohol misuse without labeling either, without saying that a mental health challenge deems one as crazy or unstable. We can also talk about alcohol misuse without calling someone an alcoholic. I don't have to repeat the obvious about what this pandemic has done to the world. Nobody has been untouched by this, and everybody has changed. There are articles out there about the mental health crisis. You also can come across articles about the increase in drinking since the pandemic began. When we first went into quarantine, I saw all of those things online about, let's have wine Zoom happy hour. And ha ha ha, who cares if it's 5:00 somewhere or not? We're all at home in our pajamas and sweatpants. So let's start drinking. It seemed cute. It seemed innocent. But it really wasn't. We have been so inundated with messages about alcohol as a magical elixir that will relieve us of stress, anxiety, worry, poor sleep. But the science of alcohol doesn't lie. It does just the opposite. So let's talk about mental health and alcohol. I was reading something recently, and it was a survey. What people would change in their lives to help their mental health? So many answers. They would change their diet. They would change their sleep hygiene. They would reduce their screen time. They would cut back on allowing the news to infiltrate their thoughts. They would get outdoors more, exercise more, drink more water, drink hot water with lemon. They would use essential oils. They would go for long walks. They would meditate. They would pray. They would read self-help books. So many things. Do you know what I didn't notice very often in the poll or the survey? Reducing or eliminating alcohol. The thing at the top of that list, in my opinion, should have been reducing or eliminating alcohol. Now, when I was younger, alcohol really did seem to be the answer to my problems. I started misusing alcohol after my mom died in 1999. I was 29 years old. I had 3 little children, and her death was traumatic. I was rocked to my core. I had 3 babies at home. I was a wife, and I was overwhelmed. I was also a runner back then. And I used to get up really early, 5:30, 6 in the morning, and go knock out 4, 5, 6 miles. Easy. After she died, I would run about a mile and I'd be bent over, gasping for breath. And that is the glamorous story of how I began to misuse alcohol. I found that if I had a glass of wine, I felt warm and relaxed and calm. And most of all, I could catch my breath. That worked fine for a while. I thought, oh, this is great. And I had no consequences. I felt fine. I could, do my thing. Then it went to 2 glasses. Then it went to 3. What's happening? I thought. And then the worst part, I still felt anxious. I kind of felt tricked. I was like, wait a minute. Alcohol, you promised me you were going to relax me, and now I'm anxious, and I'm starting to wake up with kind of a headache, and it's messing with my runs. It's messing with my mood, so I don't feel as chipper around my little ones. I felt a little duped. So that is how innocent it can all be. That's how alcohol misuse can start. It works for a little while, and then it just doesn't work the way it should or the way we think it should. I wonder if that sounds familiar to any of you. Did you go through the pandemic enjoying those happy hour Zoom calls or drinking at hours of the day when you normally would not have? And now we're on the other side. Well, we're not even totally on the other side, are we? Has your anxiety gotten any better since the beginning of the pandemic? Do you feel that your mental health has been improved by the use of alcohol? Or, like me, are you wondering what the hell happened? This stuff was supposed to do a job, and now it's not doing its job. So maybe, like I did, you find yourself drinking more and more with less and less return on your investment. I understand the frustration. I really do. And thankfully, I wasn't drinking during the pandemic because I can only imagine what this must be like. It was a collective trauma, and many, many people collectively decided to use alcohol to get through it. And where did that get you? Are you any better off? Did it help you cope? Did it help you solve any of the issues? Did it make you feel closer to your family? Did it help you learn anything about yourself? It's sad. It really is. And I have a lot of feelings about the marketing of this attractively packaged poison. But boy, they really, really did prey upon people during this awful time. Because, side note, Alcohol is terribly inflammatory and it compromises your immune system. So during something like a pandemic, when you are doing all sorts of things to shield yourself from this potentially fatal virus, they were pushing alcohol down your throat. I hope that makes you angry. I hope it makes you angry enough that you want to do something about it because you were duped. And it's not your fault. I fell for it too. The same thing. I believed the marketing, and you know what? It did its job for a little bit, and then it stopped, and I was stuck. But you are not, and I wasn't either. I didn't have the resources that you all have today. We didn't have social media with people that I could relate to saying, you know what? It happened to me and I got better. I thought people with alcohol problems were the people you saw like on the National Enquirer or, going to rehab again or going to jail. I didn't know it could happen to just everyday men and women just trying to catch their breath. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. It is your responsibility because if you are listening to this, then you know that alcohol is no longer serving you. If it were still serving you, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You'd be listening to something else or watching something else or sitting quietly, not listening to anything. But you're curious because you know that there's something going on and something should probably change. Now, a lot of people, I know, I have friends who are therapists and psychiatrists, and they are booked solid for months. Why? Because alcohol, not everyone, obviously, who seeks mental health counseling has an issue with alcohol. But if you are going to seek mental health counseling, which I highly suggest, which I participate in on a regular basis, I have for years and probably always will, because to me, mental health is like physical health. You take care of them and they will take care of you. So people are seeking mental health for many, many reasons. But I suspect one reason could be that alcohol isn't doing its job anymore. And their anxiety or depression are worse than ever. Until alcohol is out of the picture, how can we get a clear idea of what is going on with mental health? If you're drinking a depressant that rebounds by increasing your stress, you're going to be depressed, you're going to be anxious. You're going to be depressed, you're going to be anxious. So how do you go into that and get a clear picture of what's going on to share with your doctor? It's like going in to have your heart rate checked, but you go in and you have your resting heart rate because you just woke up, and then you go for a half-mile run and your heart rate's up, and then you slow down and then you speed up. Well, how is anyone supposed to know how your heart is if they can't get an idea of what it looks like without stuff going on? It's the same way. So you drink alcohol, it's a depressant, you relax, then your nervous system says, whoa, we're not in homeostasis. What's going on? Let's create a stress response. So you have a stress response. That's why the next day you feel anxious, your mouth is dry. It's the stress response. Alcohol is unique. It can be both. It can be a depressant and a stimulant. How's that for confusing? And then we wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get calm? Why can't I sleep? Why do I feel depressed? Well, you're not calm because your nervous system is creating a stress response. You feel depressed because you're ingesting a depressant. It's amazing what can happen to our beautiful and wonderful bodies and brains when we take a break from alcohol. As I said, I participate in mental health care. I look at it the same way I look at physical fitness. However, taking a break from alcohol may provide you and your doctor, with a clear picture of where you are and how you can best be served. If you're pouring alcohol into your system, it could possibly impair or hinder your journey to wellness. And you deserve wellness. We all do. We've all been through a lot, and we are each worth taking care of and looking out for. And so if you're listening to this and you're curious about taking a break from alcohol to see where you are at the end of 90 days, check us out. If you love someone who is struggling and you can look past their drinking to see what's behind it, then send them our way, because everyone is worth this. Again, you can find us at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/Project 90. You can download James's free guide to quitting alcohol at alcoholfreelifestyle.com. You can reach me, Victoria, at alcoholfreelifestyle.com. Send me a note. Let me know what you thought. I am happy to speak with you guys. Check us out, book a call, and we'll chat. For now, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I want to load you up with some free stuff. If you look in the show description, there's a link there to get my guide, which is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide. And in that guide, I will walk you through the process and system for successfully reducing or quitting alcohol. It's the same system and process that I give to my clients inside of Project 90. And if you would like to get your hands on that guide, you can click the link in the description part of this episode, or you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Likewise, if you would like to be considered for Project 90 to join our community and get some accountability, some coaching, and have fun, achieve some goals over at least 90 days with our help and support, then you're invited to schedule a complimentary coaching call with one of my coaches. You can do that by clicking the link in the show description or going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule. Now, Project 90 is for over 30s only, and it's really for people who are ready to get long-term power over alcohol. You don't have to quit forever, but you will have to quit for at least 90 days with our support. Just a reminder, 95% of my content is free and plastered all over the internet. If you just Google James Swanwick and the word alcohol, you'll find that. For those of you who want additional support, if you want coaching, fun, accountability, if you realize that you can't do this on your own or you just plain don't want to, then I invite you to schedule that call and we can talk about if Project 90 is for you. If you would like to take some of my supplements, swanvitality.com is the website. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I have a liver support product called Loving Liver, which I designed and specially formulated to help remove toxins from your liver after years of alcohol consumption. Again, there's a link in the show description. We've also got a green powder there, which turns into a green juice filled with amazing ingredients to support you and give you energy throughout the day. And there's also a magnesium product, which I take every night to help me prepare for sleep and to sleep through the night. So there's a few options there. Lastly, if this episode or the show in general has helped you or supported you in any way, I would so appreciate it if you would write a review. It really does help the show climb the rankings and expose the show to people who don't yet know about us. So if this show has benefited you in any way and you feel compelled to pay it forward, just writing a short little review, hopefully a nice one, will be so appreciated, and I will thank you immensely. Lastly, if you'd like to talk to me about anything at all, feel free to send me an email at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. I do read and respond to every email. And you can also follow me on Instagram at @JamesSwanwick. Send me a message there. And I look forward